And now, Manu and Sibat Soro, okay, our experience from our Google Summer of Code participation.
Hello everyone. Should we wait, like, or should we just start? Okay, good. Start is good. Okay, I'll just unlock. Hmm. So, I'm Manu. I've been a GSoC Google Summer of Code student from in 2011, and Saurabh has been a GSoC student, Google Summer of Code student in 2011, 12, right? So what we will do over here is we'll tell what Google Summer of Code is about. From a student's point of view, how to write a good proposal, when to start, and how is it good for a student. Then we will go on how to become a mentor in a Google Summer of Code project, because this year we have been organizing it. In the previous year, we had Vans and Tans and Matt doing it for us. And the last part, I prefer it should be an open post-mortem discussion on what we have been doing, the goods, the bads, and the uglies of the presentation. Okay? So I'll leave it to Saurabh to start out.
Hi everyone, I'm Saurabh, and by a show of hands, how many, can I know how many of you are actually familiar with the Summer of Code? By a show of hands.
Heard of Google?
Heard of it or participated, whatever. Okay, that's fine. So there are many who don't know. So who does not know, so I'll ask. Okay, so I see only one. So I'll just be brief about it. So it's a sort of an internship program for students enrolled in a university. It's Google forms organizations, participating organizations. They form a list of projects and which they want work to be done on, and students are enrolled in those projects, and they basically participate in open source projects.
Okay, one thing. Just stop us if you want to ask a question. It's better if it goes that way. Because you two guys are new to Google Summer of Code, and I assume that you love coding and you want to get into it, right? So ask us questions. That is the way it should be. We might not finish our presentation, but if we get more students, it's always good, right?
That's fine. So I'll just brief you through the goals of the program. It's to highlight the open source culture among students. And oh, just one thing, just stop me if I'm speaking too fast, because as Kostas has said that I speak too fast. So it basically what I feel is it's an excellent introduction to people who are interested in developing real applications, but need a lot of guidance. So mentoring is a very important factor in the Google Summer of Code. So the best part what I felt is a lot of code gets created and integrated into the existing code base of integrated into the existing code base of the community. So that's what I feel is a very important part of the Google Summer of Code. And this is for the students, a very handsome stipend that is 5,000 USD. That's probably a lot. So I'll just walk you through the history. It started in 2005, and it's around almost 7 years since it started, into the 8th year. And openSUSE has a very long history with the Summer of Code. We started in 2006, and there was just in 2010 we did not participate, and so far it's been an awesome experience. And we have a very good success to failure ratio, and the stats are like this. Like 2013, we are still pending. We are participating in 2013, and so far we are hoping to have have a very good success ratio. And so the program works like this. So in the beginning, the organizations, they apply to Google, and they submit a proposal of what they want to do with the project, with what all sorts of projects they want to accomplish during the year, and Google finally accepts those organizations that they feel are sort of worthy, I can say, to participate in the Summer of Code. And Then the mentoring this time around 177 organizations are participating, and great, we are one of them. So
Okay. Can I ask you? Okay, you guys are students, right? So can I? You do computer science or any other stream, right? Can I ask you a question? What do you like doing? Like, if you are asked to write a program, what would you do? Hmm.
If I want to write a program, I will think what to do to what program. So
Maybe you can make a website, maybe write an Android application, maybe write huge algorithms, maybe just create another C library, just write a driver. So what would you like to do? Like, it's just, I'm just curious to know, uh, because now when we get here, what I really want is you actually know how to choose your projects, what you like to do, and then go forward. And because that's what basically we did, and that's what most successful. Getting into Google Summer of Code is not difficult, but that is what we need to understand, basically. So so that is my question.
uh, maybe not a website, something like a program, maybe an Android app.
Exactly. So I'll just go to the previous slide where we have 180 organizations coming up, right? So what happens is every organization has at least 3 projects on an average. At least 3 projects. There are projects over 50 in some organizations. So 3 into 180 is a lot. Okay, 3 into 180 is a lot, and you have anything and everything to choose from. It can be hardware, it can be real software, it can be kernel, it can be everything. So the choice is never a problem with Google Summer of Code. It's usually choosing the right project, right mentor. That is the problem. Uh, I guess everyone here is eligible except for school students. For school students, there is a separate program which may or may not be announced this year by Google. Um, After that, you can be anything. You're a bachelor's in literature. Google does not care. We do not care. openSUSE does not care. Um, and you might be doing your doctorate, right? So you can easily be from whatever field you are. It's just that you need to write you need to have some basic skills of code. If you can write hash include hello world and maybe convince your mentor that by the time you end your project, you can write some C library. Great. Uh, some, some students are not, like, by US government, some cannot. People from Israel, um, and Iraq, Iran, I think cannot participate in Google Summer of Code. That is because of US law. Nothing against US, but that is because of the rules say so. Okay, this is probably the most important part of for the students. When does Google Summer of Code starts? And this is it. It starts from around March and ends by September. Uh, we submit our applications, basically. Uh, Organizations submit their ideas to Google, and Google says, okay, we'll do. But the more important part is finding out a project from previous year projects. Basically, many students start from January onwards. So finding out a project of your choice and then trying to sync it up when Google announces the final list of projects to get through. So this is only 1/3 of the original ideas get through. So you might not be lucky that you have an excellent proposal, but then you don't get in because the organization thinks so. something better. There was something better in some other project. But that's not the thing to worry about. You can still contribute. That is the idea, right? It's also the money, but the main idea is to get involved you in open source and provide. That is why we are here. So if your idea does not get selected, and if you try this year, submit your you keep on working without, maybe next year the organization will think, okay, this guy is great. This idea is not that great, but we'll take this guy because he's worked hard so for the last year. That has happened in the past, and people do that. So you should start by January, I believe. Look at old organizations, popular. Talk to the mentors, submit code, or get to know everything. Look at old ideas, then submit code. Once you need to write a proposal also. That is a requirement, and a good proposal is almost everything because mentors do not know you. We work around. Suppose I'm in Delhi and you're in Salonika. It doesn't work that way. So to have a very good proposal is a must. By the end of May, we start our coding period. For the next 3 months, you code. Okay. We have our first set of evaluations by the end of this month, I believe, in 2 weeks, July. And after that, after 1 month, we start documenting our code for the last 2 weeks. And pencil down is the documentation because documentation is as important as other stuff, right? Then it's the mentors who may want to attend the mentor summit at Google California, Google headquarters. After that, keep on contributing code. Basically, this is a timeline, and how to apply is something which Saurabh will tell better because he was here last year and has a much more fresh experience, I guess.
So what I feel is when you feel like applying to the Google Summer of Code, the best thing would be to identify the organization which you like to work on. So for me, it was not a very natural choice for openSUSE because I was initially working for KDE for some time, and then somehow I was also using openSUSE at that time. So I basically got interested into 2 projects and applied for both of them. So it was I was slightly lucky to get into the openSUSE project, and I think it was quite nice that I got into it. So what I feel is what I would suggest is to select a project on something, select the organization that you are already using or something like the distribution you're using, or some software that you're using and you actually can relate to, something that you can relate to. So, and the best thing would be to start early. So because that makes a lot of difference, and you can actually learn a lot of the existing code base if there is any, and get technically sound while submitting your proposal. So that is probably very important. And go through last year's projects, like if the organization has previously participated, then it will be a very good idea to know in which direction the project is headed towards. So then choose your projects, as I said, based on your discretion. Then contribute code. That most people just, what I've heard in my experience is they write the proposal, but they do not try to contribute code early. Even though it's not a prerequisite, but it's always suggested that you write some code and get familiarized with the existing code base. So it's quite important. And as Manu said, the proposal is almost everything. It tells you whether how familiar you are with the project and whether your technical skills are up to the mark or not. So be in touch with your mentor. That is also one very important aspect. Like keep communicating with your mentor if you are able to keep up with the project, or if you are having some confusions or something. They're very easily clarified, and mentors are great people. So just keep on interacting with them. I think Manu can attest to that mentors are great and awesome people. So flip bits, not burgers. That's actually, we borrowed this from Google. They actually write there, whenever they go and present the Google Summer of Code, they always write flip bits, not burgers. So I personally find that an amazing statement. So, yeah.
Okay, these are a few questions we have been asked a lot of time. Can I get in? Am I good enough? Should I try or should I not try? So these are some questions. Okay, but I'm not a great coder. So what? So first I'll try to answer, can I get in? Yes, you can. Simple. You can. Everyone can get in, just that you need to be eligible for it. You need to be over 18 and you should be studying in any school or university. Second thing is, if I can get in, I'm not that great coder. There are easy projects. Google specifically makes sure a good percentage of projects are for new contributors. They do make sure, they do have this at the back of their mind. They'll tell, okay, this is what we should do. And we'll have some easier projects for new contributors. We'll have some very difficult projects also. People who are much more into. Now, you cannot expect a doctorate from CS to work on a very easy project, right? That's how it is. So Google has from level 0 to level 10, everything. And it actually chooses an organization if an organization actually categorizes all the projects by the level of their difficulty. Okay. What do we, okay, I'll get to this later. Let's get to a Q&A round, basically ask questions. I'm sure you should have questions by now. It's been fast, I believe not even 10 minutes, a lot of information, but questions.
So how do we get in touch with mentors or see the projects?
Excellent question, I missed that. Sorry about it. I'll just add in my slides later. Okay, to get in touch, every organization usually has an idea page, which you can simply Google out. I'll show, we'll just Google it out for you. So, openSUSE GSoC ideas. If you just type this, the first page is the ideas page, right? So basically it's easy, right? Now, when you click on ideas page, when we go down, we see a lot of ideas. We'll see one idea. If you look carefully, this is a current Google Summer of Code project. The mentor is Dinar, and you can actually email him.
Yeah, you can.
This is one of the, you can just email him. So usually organizations do try to have a contact point with the mentor, and you can email him. You can talk on the IRC channels. For us, it is the openSUSE project or openSUSE factory. For build service, it is always the open build service. You can go on openSUSE factory, or you can try out the mailing lists, but it's not easy. Getting in touch with the mentor for the first time, it's not easy. You just need to find your way around and get to know the easiest way possible. So this is something. There's something we should add in the slides too. We also recommend IRC or mailing lists. If someone does not respond, you can always like say, okay, you can tell the admins, maybe they will try contacting them. And if things do not work out well, before Google Summer of Code starts, what we usually try to do will just eliminate the project. But if it starts again, if during the period of Google Summer of Code, we try to find an alternative mentor and who will try and help you out. So that's how it works basically. So if things do not work out with your mentor, we are always there. The admins are always there. It did happen during this time. One of the mentors was on a vacation and a student got really worried. So we spoke to the mentor, and then he said, okay. But then this does applies to students also. Students should not disappear either. Right? So it is a problem for mentor. It is a more problem. Mentors do it voluntarily. So it's a big problem for mentors because they're expecting something. They're expecting code out of the students because you are being paid. One thing. The other thing is they actually want their project to be realized, which is even more important thing. So if a student gets, I have seen one organization, they really, because we are participating with 4 organizations this year, so I have seen one organization where the students gone and they're at a bad shape because they really wanted some excellent work from them. That was some cool AI work which the student was trying to do because she got ill or something like that. So that's okay. So students should take care of that too. And that would actually leave a bad mark if another mentoring organization comes to know about it. They might not select you for the coming year. So any other questions? Okay, what do we want from students now? Basically, we want passion, basic programming skills. At least what I have seen in openSUSE, basic programming skills do help. But if you're trying to contribute to, say, BSD or Linux kernel, you need to be a hardcore hacker. Then soft skills. Yeah, this is a very interesting and tough topic. Usually what happens, what we usually hear from students is, I submitted my proposal and I did not get in. So the idea is the person does not know you. You need to form a trust relationship with the mentor on the other end because at the end of the day, he's getting 10 proposals. It's just like you're going on an interview and trying to convince the mentor, right? So you talk to him, you say, okay, I'm willing to do this, and show him you do that. Basically, you are saying, talk is cheap, right? So basically, that is where what we said, contribute code. So when you're talking to him, be polite. You cannot be aggressive about it. Like, he's not replying, so he's a bad mentor. Mentors have their life too. So they may not reply for a week or so. That's quite okay with us, even though we don't prefer it. That's quite okay. Students should understand. They should be polite, not go on a rampage. It happens every year in one or the other projects. And yes, of course, long-term commitment. Once the Google Summer of Code is over, we do expect you, if not contribute to the existing code base, be involved with the project in some way or the other. That's good. If it does not happen, something somewhere is wrong, and that's bad. And that's actually bad for the students only, not for the project, because projects, okay, you were there for 3 months. It does not make a big difference for us. But it's bad for students because they suddenly lose out on the learning curve and stuff like that. But that is what we expect. Yeah.
The end results of GSoC, I think both of us can attest to that, that you feel much better after you complete a summer of code, because ultimately it's a feeling that you have actually achieved something, you've contributed to something, and that something you have built is actually going to be used by so many people, by the entire community. So the feeling is pretty awesome. So the thing that open source,
So this is the second part.
yeah. So it's mostly about mentors. So it's one of the most important things about the Summer of Code is mentors, because after all, the Summer of Code is basically a mentoring program, and so a mentor can be anyone who wants to actually help pass on his knowledge, pass on his experience to a person who is willing to learn from him. So it does not have to be a very, very experienced person. It actually anybody can be a mentor who is actually willing to do so. So the main facets about a mentor is they basically want to include new mentors into the project and get some additional manpower for which they don't actually have the time. So a component which they feel is they don't need to spend a lot of time to develop, so they can delegate it to their students, and that often works out very well. And basically sharing knowledge. So that's the main aspect of mentoring. And so
I'll just, for the second point, one thing mentors should actually, that is something what Henne told me yesterday. So one thing mentors should actually take care is they actually get some good work get done. Anyone heard of GNOME Cheese, the cheese application? It runs solely on GSoC. Every year, the code contributions is from GSoC itself, I believe. Most of the work has been, over 50% of the code base is from GSoC itself. So it's a brilliant application. You do some face detection and stuff like that, add effects over it. So that's it. Okay, the last part is actually, I think, okay, before this, any questions again? Because that's the last part, that's an open discussion thing. And maybe we could discuss how do we improve and stuff like that. Any questions? Yeah.
Okay, because I see there are some numbers for success and fail, right? So I have two questions. Do you have numbers of how many mentors with the SUSE and who is the most active mentors in the SUSE? Maybe they can share some tips because the title is Become a Mentor. Yeah. So if you will know who is the most active mentor, maybe they have some process and tips for become a mentor. And the second question is, do you have a numbers who is maybe the most of all who get the Google Summer Code items? I mean the students. So every student just get one one item. So any student, maybe they attend the Google Summer Code every year, and they are lucky to be choice, or they only get once. Yeah, this is my question. Yeah.
to the second question, there is actually no limit to the number of summer of codes you can do. I personally have a friend who's done it for the past 3 years. So the first question, I think, I think Vincent can answer it better.
Vincent?
So the first question was about the successful mentors, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we keep track of the mentors actually, because so we know every year which mentor we have, and we try to invite them again every year to make sure that they keep mentoring people. But I don't think we keep track of who is still there.
Okay, if it's statistics, I'll tell some statistics because we mailed around every past Google Summer of Code student. So that was a big thing for us to do because we wanted them to come back, and we mailed every mentor personally. If they have time, ask them personally over IRC. This time from openSUSE specifically, we have 6 mentors, everyone 6. The obvious mentors, they keep coming along every year. I'm very glad about it because you don't need to tell them. They just come and do it. So this is one of the very good parts in openSUSE. But other than that, we had a mentor. We have some good mentors from the community, which is a great thing again because uh, all the 6 projects this year is from community, I believe. Everyone's doing it on personal time, no help, and they just they are just doing it on their own, which is a great thing. But who can become a mentor and what is a mentor? That is something.
Well, obviously everybody can become a mentor, and my experience is that the people just need to make sure that they will have time. They will need to allocate time for the students, and I think it's actually the most important thing when you are a mentor. You don't have to you don't have to be a great communicator. You don't have to be a great coder or whatever. You just need to make sure that you're here for your student. And so I think, I don't know from your experience as a student, Manu and so on, but I think it's really what's important, just to make sure that the mentor is always available and here and is proactive when talking to the student, not waiting for the student to come to him, but also going to the student and saying, okay, how are you doing? Is there something I can do to help you, and so on. And it's actually, in general, it's what you need in a community in general. It's not just specific to GSoC, but yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, so let's go to a post-mortem where we were. So basically, this is the good which we had from this year's GSoC. Obviously, we had it on because every year they make sure they get a couple of very good ideas in, which is very good. Then we did engage with some other projects. We are participating with HedgeWars, the game, syslog, NG, the syslog, other mechanism for logging. And then we have OW in cloud with us this year, 2 ideas from them. And then there's, of course, openSUSE. This is, some people feel that we are not doing good by collaborating with other projects. But for that, I really think we should have more ideas and mentors coming up by March first week or so. If that happens, maybe we could reduce the number of organizations we are collaborating with, but we cannot now certainly close it off because Google looks badly on organizations which are not umbrella, or they just turn in themselves, no, we are not doing it anymore, we are more selfish. And that is how it is. Yep. This is actually very bad. We do not have a list of ideas pouring in every year. We continuously need ideas. I think we have YAST, we have everything. We do not have a list of ideas pouring in. And yes, the last part is too few mentors participating. I think a project of size from openSUSE, we could easily have 10 mentors, because there's a lot of work going on. Maybe we can solve it, maybe we cannot. I just want to discuss it, put it on the table over here. Maybe what we can do is, some mentors do not have time, so maybe we can just use mailing lists or so to communicate. I don't know. What do you guys think? Once and yours, all the communication for some projects may be just public, maybe like Zipper. The mentors usually do not have a timeline, but if they usually answer queries on the mailing list. So if a student is, let's make the student comfortable on a mailing list, and let's get out a project.
I mean, I know, of course, there are projects that have like 30, 40 mentors and students, and that's really cool. We have about 6, 7. I would rather have 6 or 7 really successful students and mentors than 20 less successful ones. I think if the projects will be more successful, and they aren't always terribly successful right now. I mean, not bad, but they don't always work out that great. I think if they work out well or better, we would also get more students and mentors in time. So I would focus on quality over quantity, and maybe some of the mentors can use a bit more help. I mean, maybe it's better even to have less projects and have 2 mentors per student or something like that. If mentors are short on time, I don't think this is really so bad to have 6 projects. Let's try to make those 6 work really well. And I think the thing that would help most to do better, also with the number of mentors, is to try and do more on advertising the projects. So now most of the students blog. Maybe we can help them blog more. We can also help the mentors blog about how it goes, so that other potential mentors can see how it is for a mentor to do this, right? Because now they only see the student. So I would say, 2 things. I mean, try to be content with quality over quantity, right? If you have 3 more mentors and 3 of those projects fail, what did you gain? Nothing, right? And the other thing is try to communicate also more about what the mentor does, and try to talk to them and see if they can do a blog, do an interview, do something. So other mentors or potential mentors can see how it helps. I mean, the thing is, for a mentor, that there are multiple reasons why they would help out, right? I mean, a lot of them might like to work with students, but quite a few of them might not like it that much, but they do it because something gets done. Right? They need to get the code that the student produces. Now, we know that it doesn't always work out so well, right? Not all students end up a few years later running the program and standing here. A lot of students disappear immediately after the project. That's frustrating for mentors. And mentors talk about, how it works. People talk about the negative more than the positive. So when other potential mentors hear that the students disappear after a year, where's the motivation to spend a lot of time on mentoring, or at least that's maybe how they see it, right? So try to focus on how the mentors see it, and that's more a matter of, I mean, you guys can say it's not that much work, but what the mentors need to see is that other mentors say it's worth it. You know what I mean? So I would say try to focus on the communication and on what mentors see. And if we could get a couple of really successful projects that get into the next openSUSE release, that then get to be part of the release marketing, right? And we can say in the release marketing, look, this is a Google Summer of Code project, and it worked really well. The mentor says this, the student says that, we have even a quote in there. That would give the Google Summer of Code project visibility and positive visibility. And that, I think, would be a motivating thing. I think that works better than, asking people and trying to push them, because this would make them want it without being asked. You know what I mean? Try to make the people come to you instead of having you go to the people. Okay. Suggestion.
Okay. Next thing is, the future one was advertising. Maybe we could contact the students and send some blog posts to Google itself. They publish it on their open source blogs. Next, we might have Google Coding coming in. Google Coding is a small, for school students, basically. School students who are not in any university but still studying. It has different goals. So if you like some documentation, if you like some marketing, or if you like to do some QA testing, user or write some CSS or write some code making a simple website within 2 days. If you are a school student, of course, you can get it. It's a competition, it's not paid. So it's a competition, and the top 3 students, I think, they go to Google California for a week, and Google sponsors their travels, and they also go on a sightseeing trip in San Francisco and other areas. Then we will have Summer of Code next year again. I don't think Google will kill it off. So I think this helps. Maybe this can serve as a good guide for how to get into Google Summer of Code as a student, because there's no timeline, there's nothing over there, it's just what you need to do. There are much more better resources online. I think it's OS Labs, Open Source Labs has one very good guide on being a mentor, and also also how to become an excellent student. Google also has a lot of documentation on it. Go through it, read it, contribute code, that's it, I guess. Questions? Is there anything else? Or we'll just stop it.
So you said the Summer of Code starts at March, and the students start to code at August. What happens through that period from March to August?
Okay. March, you start deciding what you want to do. So okay, this might be interesting. Basically, a lot of times we find students do not know what to do. So in March, maybe you can try out, okay, this sounds interesting, I'll try it out. Okay, I don't like it, I'll try something else out, and I like it, I'll do it. After that, you go and talk to the mentor and say, are you interested in the idea? If you're interested in the idea, let's do it. Help me out to do it, and we'll do it. This is March. April, you start contributing code. Basically, you start working out the details. If it's a totally new project, maybe you start thinking about the details, what you want to implement and how you want to implement it. Or if it's an old project where you can try getting in some patches, get to know the source code, get some mentors' help, and along with that, write a proposal. By May 1st week, you submit your proposal. By April 24th, it's April last week to May 1st week. I'm not sure about the timeline, but you submit your proposal. Then in May, we decide which students to take, the organizations decide which students to take, and then you start coding for the next 3 months. And that's the official GSoC period.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
We're finished, I think.
That's okay. Okay.